our 10-year plan. The purpose, this is the final step of our Jaffrey Lake um, project. And so the purpose of the 10-year plan is to implement a 10-year solution plan that will decrease nitrates and phosphates in Jaffrey Lake. And so you're going to be using the pros and cons of the solutions document. You're also going to be using the stakeholder analysis document that is due today on Friday at midnight to make informed decisions, and then ultimately a PowerPoint of what solutions you'll implement in Jaffrey Lake, why you think they'll be beneficial, and then like some future steps too. So this is just a general kind of overview of what the actual document or what the actual like assignment is, because this is one of the bigger ones. And so I would refer, like if you are lost and kind of need an idea as to what each section is, or kind of the flow of your PowerPoint or the flow of your 10-year plan. Actually, this is more of the PowerPoint overview. I'll show you the other thing in a sec. But anyway, so when you are making a presentation, you'll have a title slide. These are some things that you'll have on that title slide. So introducing each partner, explaining like Jaffrey Lake has high levels of phosphates and nitrates, then blank might occur. So like what's bad about high levels of phosphates and nitrates? And then lastly, like just kind of introducing the actual project itself or the presentation itself. Next, you'll have a claim evidence reasoning of like where you think the pollution is coming from. And this is a group claim evidence reasoning. So you all have just submitted a individual claim evidence reasoning from the water testing report. And that was due last Friday, I think. So those grades are being finalized right now. If you want to do revisions on those, the individual portion, just make sure that you resubmit that. And I will get dinged for it, and I will come back and look at it once I'm all the way through 7th period today. And then once you get through your group CER as to where you think the pollution is entering, you'll start getting into your actual plan. And so this might seem kind of like a big place to start. And so to help us, I have this, which is our 10-year plan planning document. And so this document itself is actually optional, but I would highly, actually, we don't really need these names at all, do we? There's no point. So this document is optional itself, but it might be really helpful as a group. Like if I was working with Emma and Bria, I might want to share this document with them so that we can all be on the same page, know what solutions we're going to implement, why we're going to implement those plans, the time that it takes to implement a single plan, how much money you have to spend, how much money you are spending, and then whatever is remaining. So it kind of like helps you lay out all of these things that are coming into this final piece before you actually put it into your PowerPoint. And I think it would end up making a better PowerPoint in the end. I know if I was a student, I would want something that is a little bit more structured like this, so I can kind of figure out exactly what is going where and putting all those puzzle pieces together. And so for an example, I might want to start with like the awareness campaign. Again, this is like, there's no right answer. There's no requirement on what solutions you need to use, or you're not also required to use all of them either. And so like I have the awareness campaign that I'm going to start with. So the reasons why I might want to implement these or implement the awareness campaign is maybe because not all stakeholders were against the solution, right? Like if I look at the pros and cons of this, there were very few that were actually against the campaign. It also like draws community awareness to the problem itself, and it's cheap, right? Like it only costs $200,000, which I guess is not cheap, but when we look at the amount that we have to spend, which is 2 million, and you actually get 2 million every single year, it's really not that much. And so, and it's implemented really quickly. So, and implemented really quickly. So those might be some things that I would want to add in, right? Like I want to know why you were implementing the solution rather than like all the other stuff. This is the thing that I'm most curious about as your instructor. And so if I were to go through and fill this out, I have the awareness campaign going first. I have 3 bullets as to why I want to include the awareness campaign at the beginning. It takes 1 year to implement, and you can get that from the solutions document. I have $2 million to spend the first year, but I'm only spending 200,000. And so what I did here in this last column is I use this formula up above. So it says available minus the spent. So I have $2 million that's available to me this first year. I only spent 200,000. And so if I do that math really quickly, it comes out to be $1,800,000. And so this money here, let's highlight it, make it green for money. That money is actually going to show up again right here. So it's like money that rolls over. So let's say you have a $20 allowance. Every week, your parents or guardians give you 20 bucks. You go to Target, and I know this is how I would spend my money. I would buy like a pack of Pokemon cards. So I buy 1 pack of Pokemon cards this week. On Friday, so I guess today I spend my money. So that's my first week. I spend $2 on a pack of Pokemon cards. Next Friday, my parents give me another $20. And so the money that I didn't spend from this week carries over, right? It doesn't just like disappear. So I end up holding on to, in my scenario, $18. But in this example, for the 10-year plan, it's 1.8 million. And so I can kind of start saving up, right? So I have 1.8 million, and then I get another 2 million. And so if I do that math, it comes out to 3.8 million. And then I'm not implementing a solution for the third year, and I just keep adding my money up. So I have 5.8 next. And so for the fourth year, though, excuse me, hold on. There. For the fourth year, let's say I want to, implement the new main water treatment plant. So this is a big solution. It costs $6 million, and it also takes quite a bit of time to actually implement. If I go back to my solution plans document and I look for the new main water treatment plant, it looks, it takes 3 years to implement that. And so it takes a little bit of time, but I think it's going to be one of the best things for Jaffrey City. And so I just do my math. I spent 6 million from my new main water treatment plant, and then the available money, again going from my available minus the spent equals the remaining, is 1.8. So that money would then carry over into my next year. And so you just basically keep going until you could all the way through this, and then once you've completed that, I know that there's a comment in the chat, but I'm going to come back to that in 1 sec. Once you've gone through it, then as a group, you're going to go through this PowerPoint presentation, and it's all structured exactly how I want it to go. So you have the introduction, you're going to introduce yourselves, you're going to state your claim, so where you think the water pollution is coming from, and this is the group CER. The evidence, so like you could insert your group's map, or you could show your phosphate and nitrate data in a way that allows the reader to quickly identify the data that's important to your claim. And then lastly, you have the reasoning. So you're taking all of those pieces of data and you're connecting them back to your claim, right? The more evidence and the more connections you have to your claim, the better that argument is going to be. And then once you've kind of identified the locations where you think the pollution is coming from, then you're going to go into your 10-year plan. So you have year 1, year 2, you have the solution plans that you'd be implementing, you have the cost of these solution plans, you have the example. So for instance, if year 2, maybe I wanted to do like research, I should write, well, sorry, this says year 1. So maybe I wanted to do lake research. I could say like lake research should be in year 1 because blah, 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 blah. I just give a little example. So this is your why section down here. Again, this is the piece that I'm most not excited for, what's the word I'm looking for? Most interested in. And then over here, you have your remaining money in your budget. And so year one, year two, year three, all of the years are the exact same format, but it goes down all the way to year 10. You don't have to implement a solution each year. You don't have to use a certain amount of solutions, um, nor do you have to, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Use all of the solutions. So you can go through year 10, and then once you've gone all the way through year 10, you have this optional section. So what solutions did you not include and why? This is to get an above proficient. So if you want to shoot for a 4, which I would highly encourage every group to do because it's only one more slide, explain why you did not include some solutions. And then lastly, I would like you to make like a final elevator pitch or a final statement that's 2 to 3 sentences about why your group thinks the solutions you've implemented will cause the nitrates and phosphates to decrease. And so as a group, maybe divide up. I mean, obviously, I want you all to work on the 10-year plan together and have a good understanding of that. But then if you want to divide up different slides in the presentation so that you're not all working on the same thing, it may be a little bit more time efficient. You could do that. That might be very helpful. But yeah, if you have any like questions, concerns, or like group problems, make sure that you let me know before the final due date, which is December 3rd. So I can actually make a solution for your group. But yeah.